Hi everybody, it's Lace, and I'm here in a multiplayer instance of Owl's Head, so there may be a lot of people running around me. Um, this video is going to cover some of the cooking basics. I probably should have shot this a couple days ago. It's just taken me a while because I spent a lot of time on tests looking at cooking. Um, for R34, you need to have food if you want to get a good regen rate on your hit points and focus when you're fighting. Now, what you can afford versus what you can scavenge in the world / steal, that's going to affect what you can make. But your first shopping point is pretty much going to be a farmer. Now, I think eventually we will be able to grow some of these things, but to do that, you would have to have land, and some people don't have land, and you might have to buy stuff. So keep these things in mind. Just like with fuel, like, coal, creosote, and stuff like that, Owl's Head spiked really bad at the beginning of persistence. I expect the same thing to happen with the farmers. So we have two people here. We have farmer. There are not that many farmers in the world as reported on the forums so far. And this is in R33, people looking at them. There's a lot of vegetable people, but the vegetable people tend to sell seeds, not actually the raw materials that we need for cooking. To effectively cook, you not only need to see farmers, you need to see possibly bartenders. Although they've said they've taken out the wooden plates and bowls, you still need that darn wine. So that's going to come from a bartender. On top of that, you may wish to grow some things like pumpkins. So then you do actually need the vegetable merchant / seed person to do that. And then in addition to all that, you need to also visit a cooking merchant. The cooking merchant's going to have your eggs, they're going to have your milk, they're going to have your jars, they're going to have your yeast and all these other things. So cooking is probably one of the most complex crafting skills there is, because you have to visit a lot of places. You have to spend a lot of money to buy things, because you can't just get it from skinning an animal or mining. So you're going to spend a lot of cash to cook. And again, the more people are buying the ingredients to cook, the more the prices are going to rise. So expect to see huge inflation when I click on a farmer in the next week or so. So we got bananas at 6, lemon, and all this. And this might be interesting to, kind of look at this right now in this video and see what the prices are today. It's still R33. I suspect some people have been buying up things lately and trying to get ready for this release, but these prices are gonna skyrocket, I suspect. And then, again, this is Owl's Head, and you've got those two big guilds here, so they'll probably skyrocket the prices. Just keep in mind, if you're not too concerned about truth, I can steal me some potatoes, tomatoes, and lettuce. This guy's got fake stuff. I hate him. He doesn't have real stuff to steal. But things like bananas, I've never found a stealable banana. What else did she have? Let's see. Pretty much, I've never found a stealable banana or lemon. Maybe those will come in at some point. So again, for cooking, you're going to need some vegetables. You're going to need some meat probably for some of the higher stuff. And you're going to need some components from your cooking merchant / bartender, like milk, wine, and things like that. One interesting thing, today, somebody who is actually a pretty experienced player didn't know that I can click on this merchant and, let's say, onions, and she said, I'm just going to go buy everybody out. And she was going around every town buying the onions and then circling back and stuff. So I just bought 8 onions, right? I can go back in here and I can click her again and get 8 more onions. It's very cumbersome. We used to have to do this with fuel. There's still other merchants where you just really just give me a freaking 100 onions, please, for God's sakes. They have, finally they up the quantity of coal you could buy at one time. Hopefully at some point they will up the quantities here instead of these ridiculously small amounts in some cases. Just let me buy 100, buy it one time and be done with it. Then again, when people start doing that, then the price is really going to spike. but it's just, instead of having to keep opening the tray, doing it, 8 more, okay, I got 8 more, whatever. It's just cumbersome, and I feel unneeded. Our next stop is going to be the butcher, and I will be right back when I get there. Again, I'm just in Owl's Head right now. I would definitely not suggest this as a place to shop. Come tomorrow / through the next week or so, because everybody and their brother is going to be trying to cook stuff and buying all this up, and the prices are going to skyrocket. Give me a minute and I'll be right back. As we were running to the butcher shop, I just wanted to note that you've got these sheep here, so you could kill them and then skin them / field dressing, get some sheep. There's some chickens here. There's a cow here. You can do that. I believe I heard that it does give you a truth hit, so keep that in mind. Or you could just go buy the meat from a butcher, which is what we're on our way to go do. So we're still in Owl's Head, and look, we've got another farmer who yet again has our basic components. He has 7 onions instead of 8. I don't get these different quantities. I'm not sure what they were trying to do or why. We also have carrots here. Carrots are what I call a gated item, because currently the only way to get carrots are to steal them, either from scenes or here. Now if I start stealing these, I'll probably get a what? Like, yeah, see? Yeah, so busted. I just took a truth hit there. I just totally got busted for stealing that carrot. But it is an option. My truth is so borked from doing deco and stuff, so yeah. Anyway, another guy to get that stuff from. We were actually on our way to the butcher, and here's the interesting thing about the butcher. See these hanging sausages and stuff? Well, maybe not the link sausages, but this definitely you could buy. And you used to be able to buy these, and they were deco. It was just, sausage or salami or something, and they disappeared off the butchers. It's made me very, very sad. Um, Now all I can get from the silly butcher is the meat, the basic meats, and they sell them 10 at a time. So let's say I wanted to do, I don't know, there's one with bovine, which is cow, by the way, if you didn't know that. It's so funny, they say cow here, and they say rabbit, but then it's called brace of lapine, which is like, I guess crap, holy crap, Latin name for rabbit. So for some reason, everything's called by its common name except for the cow. I don't know, weird, maybe something to report, because this is called lapine. I don't know if the mutton, well, that's sheep. Wasn't to say, I guess mutton is sheep meat. Anyway, you can only buy them 10 at a time. You can see their prices. They're probably going to go up hugely over time and stuff. They're going to get inflated, but you would need to get some meat from a butcher. Alternatively, because there's not many cows in the world to kill, there's a few places with chicken. I've never seen a duck. There's some places with sheep, oysters. Oyster meat's going to come from when you're trying to harvest for like the black pearls and stuff. You'll get the oyster meat, but it's a pretty small amount that you'll get. Pork's going to come from pigs. Rabbits, well, you see all these animals constantly killing those poor rabbits. I skin every rabbit I can find, so I get free rabbit meat that way. Turkey, never seen a turkey in the game. I have a ton of venison meat stored up. However, I believe that's one of the ones that takes the mushroom or the ginger, I can't remember which, so it's a gated thing. So I have a lot of useless venison meat right now. So just keep that in mind, and keep in mind that these prices are going to be all kind of crazy at first, because everybody's going to be trying to get their stuff to cook. That is one of the good things about cooking, is I haven't seen any of the recipes being gated, like you need 72 cooking to make this or anything like that. Doesn't mean it won't change. Like if a lot of us remember that in tailoring and stuff, one of the things we used to skill up on was like bear hats and wolf hats. Well, they put those at a 60 level rating, which meant you had to have 72 in the skill to actually make the recipe. So there went your easy level ups on cheap materials. So far I haven't seen it in cooking. I am GM now, so I probably am not the best person to talk to about that. But I just wanted to talk about that. And yeah, you can see I was in a dialogue there with Randall, and Peebo went by, and I was trying to say hi to him repeatedly, but I never got a response back because I was too late by then. So we visit a butcher, we visit a farmer, and now it's time to see a bartender type person. They're going to have your wooden bowls and plates. Wooden bowls and plates are no longer going to be used for cooking as of R34 per the patch notes. It's going to be basically replaced with coal. Wow, look at that price, what that was. So if you get your coal cheaper, you're probably going to save a little bit of money on these things. Also to point out, this torch, if you're trying to build wall sconces, it's your bartender dude that sells your torches. And also you're going to need to get your bottles of wine for your cooking from your bartender. Look, it's up to 40. I think that's been inflated. I don't think I'm paying 40 in my POT. It looks like some folks have been scavenging up the bottles of wine. We've got a lot of drunkards here. I really don't think a bottle of wine is 40 in my POT. We'll be heading there in a minute and we will check that out. Just to refresh everybody again, I showed this in another video for jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween. This stealable candle here is used for jack-o'-lanterns, that kind there, the little bulbous bottom. So I'm just going to grab these because, I want to make some more jack-o'-lanterns. And since we were here, oh, look, there's just so many to steal. Goodness gracious. Yeah, Oracle's going to have my butt for this, but I don't care. She can kiss my... So I've recalled back to Diamond Fields because I know I have a cooking merchant here. I believe there's a cooking merchant in Solania. I believe I've seen one in Resolute. As to where there are other ones, I can't tell you. I know on the forums for the farmers, I believe I've heard that there is one. Well, obviously there were several farmers there in Owl's Head. I believe there's one in Ardoris. I think somebody said Janiford. Possibly Resolute also has one. I'm not certain on that. So the farmers are pretty limited, and the cooking merchants that I've seen seem to also be very limited. So this is what adds to the complexity of cooking is you have to run all over the world gathering up supplies, and you haven't even made anything. So tomorrow you're going to go try to hunt, and it's going to take you hours to just collect the ingredients to be able to just start making you some food. I am going to show you a chart with some of the durations and stuff, but your best bet is just hoard everything right now, which is going to drive the prices up and cause inflation and blah, 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 because everybody's going to need food. You're probably going to see some huge scalping in the next few days on food, but I'm showing you why that's going to happen is because people have to spend a lot of time just to be able to make a little bit of food and then try to sell it to you. So cooking merchant, off that tangent, cooking merchant, she's going to have my milk, she's going to have my eggs, she's going to have my flasks and jars that I'm going to use. She also sells a little bit of bread. She's going to have my yeast, mustard seed, pecans. She has my recipes in my POT. If you hadn't already scribed these or looked them up on the internet, salt, sugar, wheat, and vanilla. And again, I just went to my POT because it's a little easier for me because I have some supplies here to make things. Let's get that chart up. I will post this on the forums, but I think this should help not only crafters but also consumers so that they can target what they want. And maybe we might see some folks saying, I'm looking for this, and some crafters saying, hey, I got that in a zone chat. So again, this is the little chart that I've constructed, just based on everything except for the ones that call for mushrooms or ginger, because those are very hard to obtain. I've also put down read down arrows on the things that require carrots, because carrots are only stealable, and some people may not want to hit that or get that truth hit. You may find some folks that are selling carrots that are probably going to be super overpriced because they're taking the truth hit to supply you with carrots at this point in time. Hopefully those will be an agricultural thing coming up soon, because I've seen carrots growing in the ground in Highvale, so kind of the graphics already there. It's just a matter of allowing us to buy carrot seeds and planting them in the ground. So this will give you a little idea. Again, I will post this on the forums. It is from an older QA release. We're now 3,600 seconds. Now it does say, 60 minutes and stuff. You don't have to do the math in your head. But I will post this to folks and stuff. Actually, I want to come back to this chart again. Just talking about a player with limited resources, funds, and time. Just trying to get up to date for R34 and being able to do the same amount of combat in the same amount of time. Keep in mind that food does not stack the same benefit, but I could eat this, which has 2.5 health per second, and this, which has 1 health per second. I can hit them both, and I'd get the 2.5 and the 1 focus. That's not really efficient, but I'm just letting you know that you could. As a limited resource player, I'm trying to look at what's probably the easiest to make. Well, sugar cookie is going to be all store-bought, but look, it's only 60 seconds. That's not going to help you much. Apple pie is 900 seconds. That's, like, what, 15 minutes, I think? So that's only focus for 15 minutes. And then there's health for 15 minutes. Again, you got to buy the onions and all the stuff for that. You got to buy the apples, which are not sold on vendors. Those are only going to be player. So now you're going to run into a money issue. The sugar cookie, this is just going to really hurt some people where they're going to have to pause on hunting in R34 until they can afford to buy or make some of the other things. There's going to be a lot of players unhappy tomorrow or / today. It's actually just in a few hours. The coleslaw is carrot frickin' issue. What else we got? Is there anything? Health. I'm just not seeing anything good that matches with the baked salmon. And this again was based on an earlier QA release. I don't know if they've added something that does the complementary part of the baked salmon. That's a pretty good chunk of health there. Yeah, I'm looking at this from a different perspective, thinking about a new player that doesn't, have any meat, doesn't have any money and stuff, and ouch, it's gonna hurt. The ones here that I've got shown, that's great, but you still got to buy all the components for it. I'm not showing the recipes, but these 3 that I've highlighted as quote-unquote my top 3, you've got to have the gold to buy the ingredients, and then you got to go make it. So just expect to be spending a lot of time running around getting components and spending a lot of gold to make your stuff just so you can go hunt. Once you get into the rhythm of it, it won't be so bad, but that initial thing and the initial peaking of the cost of the store-bought components, since so much food is store-bought based, it's going to probably be a little painful for folks tomorrow. And people may be selling food, but expect them, like I said earlier, to scalp the hell out of it, because they've spent the time buying all the store-bought stuff cheap, and then they see the prices rise, and then they're going to scalp you. Yeah, it's going to be a little painful. You might just want to build up your coins, just grin and bear it for the low regen without food. There are the individual pieces that you can steal, apples, onions, peppers, and all that give different things, but they're really not going to allow you to have a good hunting session unless you have something that's going to last for 30 minutes to an hour, like these things. So it's going to be a little bit painful. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a good roadmap for a new player on the food. It's just because there just aren't the recipes there that are going to be conducive to the amount of money and the amount of experience you have in running around trying to find these vendors because they're so spread out or concentrated or whatever. I hope highlighting where some of these are found are going to be there. These recipes here are not the recipes anymore. These are R33 recipes. And like I've said, R34 has replaced a lot of the bowls and plates, which is a good thing because you had to buy the bowls. And I think bowls were like 16 gold a piece with non-inflation, and plates were like 8. and now it's just coal, which I think its base price is 6 gold, so you're going to save a little money in that. But still, goodness, as a brand new player, this is going to be pretty rough. Hopefully we'll get some new recipes with, at least a 1 regen to each that can be bought or crafted from things you find in the wilderness rather than having to store buy them all. I will be sure to feedback this because I really hadn't looked at it from a new player perspective because I had, gone in. You don't even want to see my stash. I got a huge stash of stuff, like 140 of these and 116, because I was like, I'm going to make enough food for me for a month. I've got enough food for me for a month. Will I be selling any food? Probably not, because it is just that much of a pain in the butt to go around, collect all these things, make it. The price that I would charge people, they're not going to want to pay, but it does take me that much time and money to make these things. Gosh, wow, I really thought R34 was great, and I didn't think the food was that bad. But again, now looking at it from a different perspective, ooh, I don't know. We're going to need to do some, instead of lottery raffles for player-owned towns, they're going to need to do a food bank or something. With that thought in mind, maybe Prism's next event will be a soup kitchen for bring us, you're tired, you're hungry, and you're poor, and maybe we can try to feed the world. Oh, wasn't that whole thing? There was a whole song about that, wasn't it? Well, there's Farm Aid and all that. So yeah, I don't know. We might need our own Farm Aid here. Anyway, I digress. But I really hope that I showed you exactly how much work you're gonna have to put into having good food. So when you see it for sale for a good, for what you would think was, oh my goodness, 500 gold, and I'm just making up a price. I have no idea what it's going to be at. 500 gold for a 1 hour food, and you're like, oh, I'm not paying that. Well, yeah, but did you see all the money they had to put into making that, and all the time and running around to 3-4 different vendors to make it? Ouch. Not to mention the wear and tear on their tools, if they don't have prosperity tools. Yeah, there's a lot going into food. It's pretty complicated right now for the amount of benefit that it reaps, but look for the system to change as other ones do. This is the first time we've used food, and it will get tweaked and it will get fed back on. So take care, everybody. Happy hunting. Be safe and don't starve.